Admiral Zixthara stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Crystal Storm. Her body was made of living crystal that sparkled blue and silver under the ship's lights. She was proud of being part of the Varthic Empire, one of the 12 powerful alien races that ruled the galaxy through the Galactic Council. The Council had kept peace for thousands of years. When new species tried to spread across the stars, the Council would visit them. The message was always simple: join us and follow our rules, or we will destroy you. It worked every time. Today was another routine mission. Intelligence reports said humans had left their home planet called Earth and built a colony on a world they named New Geneva. The humans were nothing special according to the files. They used basic rockets and simple energy weapons. Their technology was at least 500 years behind the Council's weakest members. "Admiral, we are approaching the human colony," reported her communications officer, a thin gray alien called Mexstar. Zixthara looked at the star map floating in front of her. 40 Council ships flew in perfect formation around her flagship. This was more firepower than needed to destroy 100 primitive worlds. But the Council liked to make strong first impressions. "What do we know about these humans?" she asked Lieutenant Karvak, a slug-like creature with multiple eyes, read from his datapad. "They only achieved faster-than-light travel 57 years ago. Their ships use fusion engines and chemical rockets. Their weapons are plasma cannons and kinetic projectiles. They have no energy shields, no advanced AI systems. Their largest warship is only 800 meters long." The other officers on the bridge laughed. Even their smallest patrol ships were bigger than that. "How many ships do they have protecting the colony?" Zixthara asked. "Our scouts detected maybe 20 small vessels. Probably cargo ships and mining equipment. No real military presence." Zixthara nodded. This would be over quickly. The humans would see the Council fleet and surrender immediately. Then they would accept Council rule, pay taxes, and provide whatever resources the galaxy needed from them. It was how things always went. "Admiral, we are entering the human system," announced the navigation officer. Through the bridge windows, Zixthara could see a yellow star with several planets. The human colony was on the third planet from the star. It looked like Earth, according to the files. Blue oceans and green continents under white clouds. "Take us into orbit around their planet. Begin standard first contact procedures." The 40 Council ships moved toward New Geneva like a pack of hunting beasts. Each ship was over a kilometer long and armed with weapons that could break apart moons. Their hulls shined with energy shields that could stop almost anything. "Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from the planet's surface," Mexstar reported. "Put it on the main screen." A human appeared on the display. He looked old with gray hair and tired eyes. He wore a simple blue uniform with gold buttons. "This is Governor Williams of New Geneva Colony. We welcome you to our system. May we ask your purpose here?" Zixthara smiled, showing sharp crystal teeth. "I am Admiral Zixthara of the Galactic Council. Your species has entered Council space without permission. You must surrender your colony and accept Council authority." The human governor's face did not change. "I'm afraid we cannot do that. This system belongs to humanity. We have the right to settle here." "You have no rights," Zixthara said coldly. "Join the Council willingly, or we will take your colony by force. You have 1 hour to decide." The transmission ended. Zixthara turned to her weapons officer. "Charge all primary cannons. If they refuse to surrender, we will destroy their largest city from orbit. They will change their minds quickly." "Yes, Admiral." 1 hour later, the human governor appeared on screen again. He looked calm and unafraid. "Admiral, we have discussed your offer. Our answer is no. We decline your terms. Please leave our space." Zikthara could not believe what she was hearing. No primitive species had ever refused the council before. They always surrendered when they saw the size of the fleet sent against them. "You are making a terrible mistake," she warned. "We have 40 warships. You have nothing that can threaten us." The human governor smiled a little. "Perhaps. But this is our home now. We will defend it." The transmission ended again. Zikthara felt angry. How dare these humans defy the council? They were like insects trying to fight dragons. "All ships, prepare for attack," she ordered. "We will destroy one of their cities as an example. They will surrender after they see what our weapons can do." "Admiral," called the sensor officer, his voice strange. "I'm detecting something." "What is it?" "A large signature coming from behind their moon. It's very big." Zikthara looked at the sensor display. A red dot was moving toward them from the dark side of the planet's moon. The size readings had to be wrong. "Check your instruments," she ordered. "The readings show something 15 kilometers long. That's impossible for a primitive species." "I've run the scan 3 times, Admiral. The contact is real, and it's heading our way." Zikthara felt a cold feeling in her crystal chest. Something was wrong. The humans should not have anything that big. Their technology was supposed to be simple and weak. All ships maintain formation. Whatever they have, it cannot match 40 council vessels. But as the massive object came around the moon and into view, Zikthara realized she might have made a serious error about human capabilities. The thing approaching them was bigger than anything she had ever seen in her 300 years of service. The massive shape that came around the moon was like nothing Admiral Zikthara had ever seen. It was long and dark, with a hole that seemed to drink in the starlight. Strange towers and weapon platforms covered its surface like metal mountains. The ship was so big that 3 of her vessels could have fit inside just one of its weapon bays. "Admiral," whispered the sensor officer, his voice shaking. "The energy readings are incredible. That ship's power core is putting out more energy than our entire fleet combined." Zikthara stared at the massive vessel as it moved toward them. It flew smoothly through space, turning with grace that seemed impossible for something so huge. The human ship was 15 kilometers from front to back and 3 kilometers wide. It was painted dark blue with silver markings along its sides. "What are those markings?" she asked. Lieutenant Karvak looked through his telescope. "It appears to be writing in human language. It says, HTNS Leviathan. Get me more information about this ship. How did our intelligence miss something this large?" "Admiral, I'm reading massive weapon signatures all over that hull. Energy cannons, projectile systems, and technologies I cannot identify. The ship has shields that are stronger than anything in our database." Zikthara felt fear creep into her crystal heart, but she pushed it away. She was an admiral of the Galactic Council. She commanded 40 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy. One primitive human vessel could not threaten them, no matter how big it was. "Open a communication channel to that ship," she ordered. The main screen changed to show the bridge of the human vessel. A woman in a dark blue uniform sat in the captain's chair. She had short brown hair and green eyes that looked very calm. Behind her, humans worked at strange control panels that glowed with soft light. "This is Captain Sarah Chun of the human Titan Navy ship Leviathan," the woman said. "You are in human space without permission." "I am Admiral Zikthara of the Galactic Council," she replied, trying to sound strong. "Your primitive ship does not scare us. Surrender now, or we will destroy you." Captain Chan smiled a little. "Admiral, I suggest you reconsider your position. You are facing a Titan-class battleship of the Human Defense Force. Your vessels are no match for this ship." "Impossible. Our intelligence reports show humans have no advanced technology. That ship is just a big target. Your intelligence is 50 years out of date, Chun said calmly. Humanity has grown since we first left Earth. We suggest you leave our space peacefully. Zixthara felt her anger rising. We will show you the power of the Galactic Council. All ships, fire warning shots around that vessel. Do not hit it directly. We want them to surrender, not die. 20 of her ships opened fire with plasma cannons. Bright blue energy beams shot across space toward the human battleship. The weapons were designed to frighten enemies with their power and light. But something strange happened. The energy beams hit invisible shields around the Leviathan and simply disappeared. The massive ship did not even slow down. "Admiral," called her weapons officer, "our shots had no effect. Their shields absorbed our plasma completely." Captain Chun appeared on the screen again. "Admiral, that was very rude. Please do not fire at my ship again. Fire full power." Zixthara shouted. "All ships, maximum firepower. Destroy that ship." 40 council vessels opened fire with everything they had. Plasma cannons, particle beams, and kinetic weapons filled space with deadly light. The attack was strong enough to crack a moon in half. The human ship sat in the middle of the energy storm like a rock in a river. Its shields glowed softly as they turned aside weapons that could destroy cities. Not one shot reached the hull dot, then the Leviathan fired back. A single beam of strange, purple light shot from the human ship's main gun. It was not like any weapon the Council had ever seen. The beam moved through space and touched the crystal storm shields. Zixthara watched in horror as her ship's energy shields, the most advanced protection in the galaxy, began to break apart like glass. The purple beam cut through her defenses as if they were made of paper. "Admiral, our shields are failing," screamed the engineering officer. "Impossible. Nothing can break through Vorthik shields." But the beam was not trying to destroy her ship. It passed through the shield wall and touched the Crystal Storm's main communications array. The metal tower melted like ice in hot sunlight. Then the purple light disappeared. "This is Captain Chun," came the human woman's voice over the emergency communication system. "Admiral, I have disabled your flagship's main communications." This was a demonstration, not an attack. "Please order your ships to stand down." Zixthara looked around her bridge. Her officers stared at their instruments with shock and fear. The most powerful shields in the galaxy had been cut apart by one shot from a human weapon. "What do we do, Admiral?" asked Mextar. Zixthara's mind raced. The human ship had weapons that could break through their best defenses with ease. If they wanted to destroy the Council fleet, they probably could. But they had chosen to disable her communications instead of killing her crew. "All ships, fall back to a safe distance," she ordered. "Do not fire unless I give the command." The Council fleet pulled back from the Leviathan. The massive human ship did not follow them. It simply waited in space, like a sleeping giant. "Captain Chun," Zixthara said, "your weapons are more advanced than we expected. But you are still only one ship. We have 40. "Admiral," Chun replied, "do you really want to test that theory? My ship was designed to fight entire fleets. Your vessels are using technology we mastered 50 years ago." Zixthara looked at the human battleship on her screen. It was beautiful in a terrible way, like a storm cloud full of lightning. She realized that everything the Council knew about humanity was wrong. These humans were not primitive savages with simple weapons. They were a species that had built war machines beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen, and they were trying to be polite about it. Admiral Zixthara stood frozen on her bridge, staring at the massive human ship. Her pride as a Galactic Council officer fought with the fear growing in her crystal chest. The Leviathan had cut through her shields like they were nothing, but surely 40 ships could defeat one enemy vessel, no matter how big it was. Admiral, what are your orders? Asked Lieutenant Kervak. Zixthara thought about retreating, but she could not return to council space with news of defeat. The other admirals would never let her live it down. The council's reputation for power would be broken if word spread that humans had scared them away. Send a message to High Command, she ordered. Request immediate reinforcements. Tell them we have encountered unexpected resistance. The Admiral called the communications officer. I'm receiving orders from the council. They want us to complete our mission. No retreat until the humans surrender. Zixthara felt trapped. The council expected total victory, but the human ship was far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Still, she was an admiral. She had won battles against dozens of alien species. One ship could not stop the might of the Galactic Council. All vessels, attack formation Delta 7, she commanded. We will surround the human ship and attack from all sides. Even their advanced shields cannot protect them from 40 ships firing at once. The Council fleet spread out in a wide circle around the Leviathan. Each ship was at a different angle, making it impossible for the human vessel to face them all at the same time. It was a battle formation that had never failed. Captain Chun's voice came over the emergency channel again. Admiral, I strongly advise you to reconsider. My ship can handle your entire fleet. Please withdraw before people get hurt. Never. Zixthara shouted back. You may have powerful weapons, but you are just one ship against 40. Attack formation complete. All ships, prepare to fire on my command. The council vessels charged their weapons. Plasma cannons glowed with deadly light. Particle beam arrays hummed with power. Kinetic launchers loaded their most powerful shells. Fire! Zixthara screamed. 40 ships opened fire at the same moment. The attack was incredible to see. Hundreds of energy beams and projectiles shot toward the Leviathan from every direction. The amount of firepower was enough to destroy a small moon. The human ship disappeared inside a ball of brilliant light as the weapons hit its shields. Explosions filled space around the massive vessel. Zixthara smiled, thinking they had won. Then the light faded, and the Leviathan was still there. Its shields glowed softly blue, completely undamaged. Impossible, whispered the weapons officer. Nothing could survive that attack. Captain Chun's face appeared on the screen again. She looked disappointed. Admiral, you have forced me to defend my ship. I tried to warn you. The Leviathan began to move. Despite its enormous size, it turned and accelerated like a fighter ship. The massive vessel spun through space with impossible grace, its hull gleaming in the starlight. Then it opened fire. The human ship's weapons were unlike anything the Council had ever seen. Purple beams that bent space itself cut through 3 Council vessels, aging their hulls to dust in seconds. Green energy waves disrupted the molecular bonds in alien armor, causing ships to simply fall apart. Orange particles that moved faster than light punched holes through the strongest shields as if they did not exist. Evasive maneuvers, Zixthara ordered. But her ships were too slow. The Leviathan moved between the Council vessels like a dancer among standing stones. It fired continuously, each shot perfectly aimed. When Council ships tried to ram it, they bounced off energy fields that bent around the human vessel like water. One by one, the Council ships began to fall. The helix of Corthon, pride of the insect-like Krex Empire, broke into 3 pieces when a gravity weapon tore it apart. The Golden Spear, fastest ship in the crystalline fleet, stopped moving when strange energy drained all power from its engines. Admiral, we need to retreat, shouted Mexstar. This ship is destroying us. No retreat, Zixthara replied, but her voice was shaking now. All remaining ships ram the enemy vessel. If we cannot destroy it with weapons, we will crush it with our hulls. 8 Council ships turned toward the Leviathan and flew straight at it. their engines at full power. If they could hit the human ship hard enough, maybe they could damage it. But the Leviathan was ready. Blue energy fields appeared around the human vessel, creating a barrier in space. When the Council ships hit the barrier, they bounced off like toys thrown against a wall. One ship spun out of control and crashed into an asteroid. Two others collided with each other and exploded. "Admiral," called the sensor officer, his voice full of terror. 37 of our ships are destroyed or disabled. Only 3 vessels remain operational. Zixthara looked at her tactical display in horror. Red lights marked the locations of destroyed or crippled ships. Her mighty fleet, the pride of the Galactic Council, had been defeated by a single human vessel in less than 6 hours. The Leviathan stopped firing and moved closer to the crystal storm. Up close, the human ship was even more frightening. Weapon ports covered its hull like the eyes of some metal beast. Energy discharges sparked between strange antenna arrays. The ship felt alive, as if it was thinking about what to do next. "Admiral," came Captain Chun's voice, "I'm going to board your ship. Do not resist. My people will treat you with respect if you cooperate." "Board us?" Zixthara laughed bitterly. "How can you board anything? Your ship is 15 kilometers long. It cannot dock with a smaller vessel." But even as she spoke, a section of the Leviathan's hull opened up. A small craft flew out, no bigger than a shuttle. It approached the crystal storm and attached itself to the main airlock. "Admiral," reported the security chief, "unknown beings are requesting permission to board." Zixthara looked around her ruined bridge. Half her officers were injured. Her weapons were destroyed. Her shields were failing. She had no choice. "Let them aboard," she said quietly. The airlock opened, and Captain Chun walked onto the bridge. She was smaller than Zixthara had expected, and she carried no visible weapons. 2 human soldiers followed her, wearing armor that seemed to shimmer with its own light. "Admiral Zixthara," Captain Chen said politely, "you fought bravely, but your ships were not designed for this kind of battle. I would like to show you something that might help you understand what happened here." Today, the human captain looked around the damaged bridge with what seemed like genuine sadness. "I regret the loss of life," she said, "but you gave us no choice. Come with me. I think it's time you learn the truth about humanity." Captain Chun led Admiral Zixthara through the corridors of the Leviathan. The crystal alien walked in stunned silence, her proud head hanging low. The human ship was even more impressive on the inside than the outside. The halls were wide enough for vehicles to drive through, and the walls hummed with power that made Zixthara's crystalline body vibrate. "Your ship is enormous," Zixthara said quietly. "How many crew members do you have?" "About 15,000, Captain Chung replied, "though most of the ship runs itself. Our artificial intelligence handles navigation, weapons targeting, and system maintenance." They stopped at a large window that looked out into space. Zixthara could see the wreckage of the Council fleet floating in the darkness. Some ships were completely destroyed. Others drifted powerlessly, their crews waiting for rescue. "I want you to understand something," Captain Chun said. "The Leviathan is not humanity's greatest warship. It's just a patrol vessel. We have 12 ships like this protecting our home system." Zixthara felt her crystal knees grow weak. 12 ships like this one? "Yes, and they're the smallest ships in our deep space navy." The Admiral stared at the human captain. "What do you mean, smallest?" Captain Chun pointed to another section of the ship. "Would you like to see our construction data? I think it will help you understand what your council is really facing." They walked to a room filled with floating displays that showed technical information. Charts and numbers floated in the air like glowing ghosts. Captain Chun touched one of the displays, and it showed pictures of different human ships. These are our ship classes, she explained. Destroyer-class ships are 2 kilometers long. Cruiser-class ships are 5 kilometers. Battlecruiser-class ships are 8 kilometers. The Leviathan is a Titan-class battleship at 15 kilometers. Zixthara looked at the pictures with growing horror. Each ship class was bigger than the largest vessels in the Council fleet. What's bigger than Titan-class? She asked, afraid of the answer. Captain Chen touched another display. Dreadnought-class ships are 30 kilometers long. We have 6 of them. Then there are the Worldbreaker-class vessels at 50 kilometers each. We have 2 of those. The crystal alien sat down heavily in a human chair. Her entire worldview was crashing down around her. The Galactic Council ruled the galaxy through fear of their superior technology. But humans had ships that made Council vessels look like toys. Why? Zixthara whispered. Why do you need such massive warships? Captain Chun's face grew sad. Because we learned hard lessons about the universe, Admiral. Before we met your council, we encountered other threats. Species that wanted to wipe out all human life. We built these ships to make sure our people would never be helpless again. But your technology, our intelligence said you were primitive. 50 years ago, that was true. But war teaches species to grow quickly. We developed new technologies because we had to. Matter conversion, quantum computing, gravity manipulation, temporal mechanics. We learned to turn asteroids into starships in a matter of weeks. Zixthara felt sick. Temporal mechanics? You can control time? Some of our weapons age enemy ships thousands of years in seconds. Others freeze sections of space in time bubbles. We learned to break the normal rules of physics because alien enemies forced us to. The captain showed her another display. It was a map of human space with little dots marking ship positions. Admiral, I want you to see something else. These dots show where our defensive fleets are positioned. The ships you fought today, they're our peacekeeping force. Our actual war fleet is much larger and much more dangerous. Zixthara counted the dots on the map. There were hundreds of them. How many ships do humans have? About 3,000 combat vessels of various classes, plus support ships, construction vessels, and colony defense platforms. The crystal alien put her face in her hands. 3,000 ships. The entire Galactic Council has maybe 400 vessels total. Admiral, there's something else you need to know. My government has been watching Council space for 20 years. We know about your expansion policies. We know how you force new species to surrender or face destruction. Zixthara looked up sharply. You've been spying on us? We've been protecting ourselves. When a powerful military force threatens peaceful colonies, it's wise to gather information. We know about the Krex Insect Empire's slave worlds. We know about the Vorthak crystal mines worked by conquered populations. We know about the forced tribute system. Those species chose to join us rather than fight. Captain Chun shook her head. They surrendered because they thought they had no choice. Just like your council thought we had no choice today. Far across the galaxy, emergency meetings were taking place in council space. The surviving ships from Admiral Zixthara's fleet had returned with impossible stories. Ships that could destroy entire fleets. Weapons that controlled time and space. Technology that seemed like magic. High Admiral Krexvar of the Insect Empire slammed his clawed fist on the conference table. This is impossible. No species develops that quickly. They must have found ancient technology somewhere. Our scientists have examined the wreckage of our ships, reported Defense Minister Koaneth of the gas-breathing Nethys. The human weapons use principles we don't understand. Some of the damage appears to have been caused by controlled aging. Metal that was turned to dust by time acceleration. Fleet Commander Vex Hui of the tentacled Morkai spoke with a trembling voice. My scouts have been watching the human home system. They count at least 50 massive vessels in Earth's orbit, ships bigger than our largest battle stations. The 12 species of the Galactic Council sat in stunned silence. For thousands of years, they have been the strongest force in the galaxy. They had conquered or absorbed hundreds of primitive species. Now they faced an enemy that made them look primitive. "What do we do?" asked Prime Minister Yelgoth of the energy-based Luminari. "If these humans decide to attack us, can we stop them?" High Admiral Krex Var looked at the intelligence reports spread across the table. Pictures of human ships that dwarfed Council vessels. Weapon readings that showed impossible energy outputs. Manufacturing data that suggested humans could build fleets faster than the Council could repair battle damage. "No," he said quietly. "If these reports are accurate, we cannot stop them. If humans wanted to conquer the galaxy, they probably could. Then what do they want?" asked Defense Minister Qul single quotes Nathdod. That was the question that terrified the Council most. Every species they knew wanted power, territory, or resources. But humans had destroyed a Council fleet and then offered medical aid to the survivors. They had shown mercy when they could have shown destruction. What did you do with an enemy that was both overwhelmingly powerful and strangely peaceful? The Council was about to find out. 3 weeks after the battle at New Geneva, the HTN's Leviathan appeared in the skies above Nexus Prime, capital world of the Galactic Council. The massive human battleship moved slowly through the system, its dark hull reflecting the light of the twin suns. Every sensor in the system tracked its progress, and every defense station powered up their weapons in fear. But the Leviathan came in peace. Captain Sarah Chun had requested permission to address the full Council assembly. After much debate and panic, the alien leaders had agreed to meet. They had no choice. Their intelligence now showed the true size of human military power, and they knew resistance was hopeless. Admiral Zixthara stood in the Council chambers, her crystal body still showing damage from the battle. She had spent 3 weeks aboard the human ship, learning about their technology and culture. The experience had changed her completely. She was no longer the proud crystal warrior who had attacked New Geneva. Now she understood the terrible mistake the Council had made. "Honored members," she addressed the assembly, "I have returned from human space with information that will change everything we think we know about power in this galaxy." The 12 species of the Council sat in their traditional circle. Insect-like Krex with their clicking voices, gas-breathing Nethys in their environmental suits, tentacled Morkai floating in water tanks. Each species had ruled over others for so long that they had forgotten what it felt like to be weak. "Hi," Admiral Krexvar spoke first. "Admiral Zixthara, your reports claim that humans have over 3,000 warships. This seems impossible for a species that achieved spaceflight only 60 years ago." "I have seen their shipyards with my own eyes," Zixthara replied. "They can convert asteroids into starships in less than a month. Their manufacturing technology is centuries beyond ours." "But why do they need so many ships?" asked Defense Minister Kolonoth. "What are they planning to do with such a fleet?" Before Zixthara could answer, the chamber's main doors opened. Captain Chun walked into the room, followed by 2 human diplomats. She wore a formal blue uniform with silver decorations, but carried no weapons. Her calm confidence made the assembled alien leaders uncomfortable. "Honored Council members," Captain Chen said, bowing slightly. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with us. I am Captain Sarah Chun, speaking for the United Earth Defense Force and the Colonial Administration." She walked to the center of the chamber where speakers traditionally stood. Around her, 12 different alien species watched with fear, anger, and curiosity. "I know you have questions about humanity's intentions," she began. "Your scouts have observed our fleet movements and counted our ships. You're wondering if we plan to conquer your territories or destroy your civilizations. High Admiral Krexvar clicked his mandibles nervously. That is exactly what we want to know. Your military power far exceeds ours. In our experience, the strong always dominate the weak. Captain Chun smiled sadly. That's the difference between us and you, Admiral. Humans don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want to be left alone to build our colonies and raise our families in peace. Prime Minister Yelgoth of the Energy Beings flickered with disbelief. Then why do you have 3,000 warships? Because 50 years ago, we encountered species that wanted to exterminate all human life, Chun replied. We learned that the universe is dangerous for peaceful peoples. We built our fleet to protect ourselves from threats like those species. And like the Galactic Council, the chamber fell silent. No one had ever spoken to the council like this before. However, Chun continued, we prefer cooperation to conflict. Humanity has no interest in conquering your worlds or enslaving your peoples. We want to offer you something your council has never experienced before. Partnership between equals. Fleet Commander Veshwi spoke up, his tentacles writhing with confusion. Partnership? What do you mean? Trade agreements, cultural exchange, shared scientific research, and mutual defense against outside threats. We want to work with you, not rule over you. High Admiral Krexvar laughed bitterly. And what if we refuse? What if we decide that humanity is too dangerous to exist? Captain Chun's expression became serious. Then you would be making the same mistake you made at New Geneva. Admiral, I don't think you want to test human military capabilities again. Admiral Zixthara stepped forward. Honored Council, I have spent weeks studying human society and technology. These people are not conquerors. They could have destroyed our fleet completely, but they chose to disable our ships instead. They could have invaded our worlds by now, but they remain in their own space. She speaks the truth, Chun said. But we will defend ourselves if attacked. And our definition of defense includes preventing future threats. If the Council continues its expansion policies and threatens human colonies, we will stop you. How? Demanded Defense Minister Kolinath. You have 12 ships protecting your home system. We could gather a fleet of hundreds. Captain Chun touched the device on her wrist. The chamber's main display screen activated, showing a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked human fleet positions, and there were far more than anyone had expected. This shows the current location of our mobile fleets, she said calmly. We have ships positioned near every major council world. They've been there for 2 weeks, waiting to see if you would choose wisdom or war. The alien leaders stared at the display in horror. Human ships were everywhere, close enough to strike at their home worlds within hours. This is a threat, whispered Prime Minister Yelgoth. No, Chun replied. This is a demonstration. If we wanted to threaten you, your capital cities would already be in ruins. Instead, we're offering you a choice. She gestured to Admiral Zixthara. Your admiral has seen what partnership with humanity could bring. Shared technology that can improve life for all your peoples. Scientific advances that could solve problems you've struggled with for centuries. Protection from threats beyond the galaxy that make our previous conflicts seem small. Admiral Zixthara nodded. The humans showed me medical technology that could extend Krek's lifespans by hundreds of years. Energy systems that could power entire Nethys colonies. Manufacturing techniques that could create anything the Morkai need. And all we ask in return, Chun said, is that you stop forcing primitive species to surrender or die. Stop the slave worlds. Stop the forced tribute. Let other species choose their own path among the stars. High Admiral Krexvar looked around the chamber at his fellow council members. Fear and hope warred in their alien faces. For so long, they had ruled through strength and terror. Now they faced a choice between destruction and cooperation. "What guarantee do we have that humans won't change their minds later?" he asked. "What stops you from conquering us once we lower our defenses?" Captain Chun smiled. "The same thing that stops you from conquering primitive species after they join your council voluntarily. Mutual benefit. When partners prosper together, nobody wants war." The negotiations took 3 days. In the end, the Terra Accords were signed by all 13 species. The Galactic Council agreed to end forced expansion and release enslaved populations. Humanity agreed to share certain technologies and provide protection against external threats. Admiral Zixthara became the first alien officer to serve aboard a human ship. Her knowledge of Council technology and tactics made her valuable to human fleet planning. More importantly, her experience showed other aliens that partnership with humanity was possible. 6 months later, the first joint Council human exploration fleet departed for the Galactic Rim. The ships flew together as equals, their crews working side by side to explore unknown regions of space. Captain Chun stood on the bridge of the Leviathan, watching the mixed fleet on her screens. Beside her, Admiral Zixthara studied navigation charts with human and alien officers. "Do you think it will work?" Zixthara asked. "This partnership between our species? I think it has to work," Chun replied. "The alternative is too terrible to imagine." Outside the ship's windows, human and alien vessels flew through the stars together, heading toward an uncertain but hopeful future. The galaxy had learned that true strength came not from dominating others, but from working together as equals. The Titan-class battleship that had once terrified an entire galactic civilization now served as a symbol of protection and cooperation, ensuring that peace would endure among the stars.